Today, the Supreme Court ruled that states cannot require prospective voters to prove that they are U.S. citizens before using the federal registration system designed to make signing up easier. The justices voted 7-2 to throw out Arizona's requirement that prospective voters document their U.S. citizenship in order to use a registration form produced under the federal motor voter registration law. Can you explain what's going on here, the background of this law itself?
Yeah, man, Scalia voting to smack down a state. It's dogs and cats living together, man. It's crazy. Basically, the federal government in the 90s made the motor voter law, which says that you can get your voting rights, you can register to vote when you get your driver's license. Arizona said, no, instead of just requiring your driver's license, we want you to do something extra. We want you to prove that you're a citizen of the United States before we allow you to register to vote. So that was an extra requirement on top of the federal requirement that you just need to apply for your driver's license. And then today, surprisingly to some, the Supreme Court struck that down, saying, no, Arizona cannot place an extra requirement on top of what the federal government has already said. It's pretty surprising for some. There are a lot of states that have done something similar to this, so I think it will certainly have an effect. And I think Alabama's done something like this. There are, I think, 3 or 4 other states that have done something similar. So this should, if you challenge those laws, one would expect that those laws would also be in violation now of the Supreme Court decision. Remember, all the Supreme Court has said here is that federal laws preempt, and that's a very simple suggestion, right? Is that the federal government has already acted. It's already said what we need to have voting rights in this country, and that each individual state can't kind of make up their own rules. So it's kind of a simple decision, actually.
Is this or is this not going to be a setback for the anti-voter fraud efforts more generally?
It's hard to tell. I mean, again, this was a limited decision. This was a specific the national motor voter law, right? It's a specific law that Arizona was trying to come over the top of what the federal government had already done. Now, with the kind of part and parcel of voter ID laws that we've been hearing a lot more press about, there might not be a specific federal law that kind of, again, preempts what the states are doing. So that, put it like this. If I was kind of anti-voting rights, I wouldn't view this as a setback. I would view this as a side issue.
Wow.
Yeah,
well, even if you could call it a setback, the fact that voter fraud is a non-existent problem in the first place wasn't a setback. So I guess it won't be a big deal for that front.